Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 91 of Orchid Bay, our Vanilla City Skylines build. We hope you're having a wonderful day. We're going to start today's episode with a little time-lapse bringing in some networks into this valley that we're working on today. Taking inspiration thanks to a great comment from Josh Enio to check out the wonderful French town of Chamonix, I believe it's pronounced, in the Alps. Stunningly beautiful, and kind of a miniaturized version of that landscape is what we have to play with here in Orchid Bay. So we'll bring all the networks in, and then lots of fun in what turns into a really lush valley village in the valley. Very nice. Enjoy the time lapse. Catch you in the live play. So welcome everyone to the Valley of Chamonix, which I think is quite an appropriate name, given of course the egg vibe, and some wonderful inspiration that we discussed at the start of the episode. I can definitely see kind of a European inspired build of that whole area coming on one day, but it was super cool inspiration. So I'd love to start the new town by bringing in the train station, of course. So in that introduction time, that's we brought in our sort of like main street here. And this isn't going to be kind of a huge metropolis, just a collection of houses, a couple of farming communities, and maybe a little bit of kind of nature tourism over here as well, if you like. Let's have a road. But of course, while we're with a rural station, I think there's only one choice, isn't there? We want the seaside resorts. Now let's have this guy we do here. And then I'd love to do something with the end of the road, maybe even something with one of the after dark roads. Just a short little segment, almost to kind of replicate a cul-de-sac-esque design. Something like that is pretty perfect, actually. And then let's just find that angle again, going back into the road. So this now completes what will be our next first-person tour in Orchid Bay. Because this is the end of the line that runs from the downtown through Karen, Sharon, Denise, and up to Carroll as well, all of the towns of Orchid Bay. So this should be, we'll set this line up together, of course. Quite a monumental occasion for the city. So it comes through Deville from last episode, and then we want to drag this over here. And let's not forget to add those stops back in to Deville as well. Fabulous. So let's just analyze where that line goes to. So from Chamonix now all the way through here into Deville, coming through Carroll, looping around right by the Volkswagen factory. Then through Denise, where it then goes to Sharon, where the line then changes into the downtown route. And then this goes all the way through here, stopping at Karen, where we also meet with trolleybuses. And then it comes through the big park space here as it approaches into the city, where it arrives finally at the main transport hub as everything enters into the downtown. So that possibly, I think, if I'm allowed to say this, is probably my best ever planned train line, I think. Just the flow of that and how it hits all the towns and just moves throughout the entire map is just a super cool train system. Massively happy with it. Now it comes to its final stop at Chamonix at the head of the valley here. Amazing that, isn't it? Very proud of that, everyone. That was very nice. Cool, so let's also go the trees while we're here as well. Let's go for... I want this place to be really kind of leafy. Of course, the inspiration here up against the Swiss and French Alps is significantly higher mountains than this, but we can simulate a kind of similar experience, I think. So I want lots of residential through here as well. Let's go ahead and find the district over here. We will ask you to become European suburbia, almost certainly, I think, for a more rural vibe. So we do have some fertile land around here as well, so I'd like to get some fields in at some point if at all possible. But let's bring in some simple residential on the main street. Definitely don't want a ton of density here. We're just going to have smaller residential buildings. And we do have some seaside resorts buildings left over too, which is quite appropriate for here. I think there's only 1 or 2 left, isn't there? Let's have a look at that unique building. It's going to be this one here, isn't it? The Isleworth Gardens, which is, I think, a sensible size for what I'm after here, I think. Yeah, I think I'd like to make this part of a almost wider train station configuration, I think. So the asset is, what, 3 blocks wide? Let's see if we can bring in a road to kind of assist with that. Let's do, that's going to be 2 blocks there, isn't it? I think when this town's all said and done as well, all the layers are going to complement one another rather nicely. Let's have Isleworth Gardens here. Let's go for right there, I think. Fabulous. And then where we have these roads, I would like them to start careering up the hillsides with some relatively tight mountain roads knocking around here. Tight curbs, steep gradients, very much the vibe in the Alps. Let's just keep this running up. Generally following the terrain of the mountain as the road ebb and flows up the hill like that. And then there's space here now for this one to eventually meet it. It's actually wang on contour line so we can roughly follow. Cool. So this will allow for lots more mountain homes to start appearing over here. Some people with incredibly nice views. And that's sat up at the top of the valley here. Almost just being able to peek through to previous towns. You can see very distant infrastructure from here, can't you? You can actually see the Ferris wheel on the pier. The literal total opposite side of the map. You can still see little tourist pier over there. How fabulous, right? Really, really love that. It's been a very bittersweet experience coming to the end of Orchid Bay, because it's definitely the most complete vanilla build we've had. But yeah, to know that it's coming to a close is very sad, but it's also incredibly satisfying to see the fruits of our labours come together after so long building it, and I hope for those that have followed along as well, that you have enjoyed piecing together a vanilla build in this style. I know there have been a few build ones. I hope the ones that made it, I hope you did, end up having some amount of fun. Would you look at that? Hello people. I probably don't want intercity trains coming out to Chamonix. This is definitely a regional train line. You know, big city to city trains aren't coming through this way. Cool. That. The train heads all the way back. Just about there. Right over there. Cool. So lots of old style buildings in here. Let's also get that library as well, because there's an asset here, isn't there? Yes, please. Lots of historical library vibes. Let's have this right up here. I wouldn't mind some commercial, you know, some of the smaller lots, especially if we get some of the red brick from the creator packs, we can create a much older vibe. Art Deco Cinema's a great shout as well. Laundromat, etc. Cool, so we'll start to see a little bit of a town community form around here. I definitely also like some larger buildings like gyms and sports fields around here. So why don't we grab some sports venues? What pitch did we give the nephew? You got football here, didn't it? Then again, this is a French-inspired area. We should really do the most French sport, which of the ones we can choose from is probably football, isn't it? Oh, it's fine. The nephew had football. We'll give these guys cricket. Where do we want cricket pitch, though? Let's have it... I'd love to have it by the water. I think that would be quite welcome. I wonder what happens if we draw... node out from this. You're just gonna go straight under, are you? I bet we can get that to turn into a bridge, which should be a real nice town feature. You do have to time it, I think, with the flow of the tide, if you like, but we will get there. There we go. Come down like that. Fabulous. I know we lose a little bit of our smoothness there, which we can contain with a rock wall, but I would like to give it a little bit more breathing room this side. There we go, just so we kind of flow a bit like that. Slightly happy with that. The stream coming down the middle of the town as well, we get lots of rocks through here in our detailing. Cool. So, a bit of activity starting to generate here now in the main town square. We'll continue to zone as the episode goes on, of course. Now, I would definitely want some farms around the entrance on the flatter spaces here. So let's place in a farmhouse. I'd love to have this really visible on the entrance to the town. Possibly on a dirt road. So I reckon we'll actually just place this here. And then let's get down that farm industry. We're placing a brand new farm. We're going to name this after one of our wonderful patrons. This is going to be the Sarlek Salad Fields, named after our beautiful patron. Sarlek96, thank you for your support, mate. Welcome to the patronship. Welcome to having one of the last builds in Orchid named after you as well. So let's bring this farm area all over the road here. We have some over this area too. Cool. I'm not really bothered about this being a money making machine. I'm really just after the positioning of the fields against some of the roads here. So we'll probably have to go with smaller crop fields. So I think we'll bring this road up against the main road, and then I'd actually like to find a right angle off of this position here in order to actually place the field. Probably a large one. I'd have this one here. Turn this into... You know what? Having accidentally clicked on it, I wouldn't mind the greenhouse, you know? I really wouldn't mind that. I think just as a kind of larger, more, I guess, green, renewable focused industry building along national road infrastructure, I could actually get quite on board with that. I think the positioning against the water isn't going to be super friendly to massive fields, but we can still use the fertile land for this. And probably on this right angle, I reckon, is where I want it. Yeah, we'll change that back to greenhouse here. Fabulous. Then now we can use it to decorate the entrance to the town. Whilst also finding a connection in for this as well. I think we'll just have this straight opposite the entrance to his farm here. I'd love to also develop the farm, another little yard down here as well, just so on the approach into the village, that you see just... We can turn it into animal products. We do have quite a few factories around these days that are using animal products, so let's start producing some more here. And then we'll stick a silo out here as well. And then let's finish off with a little field combination. Cool. So I think that combined with a bit of tree lining and fencing just to box it in as a sort of private property farmer's land. We can get on board with that. So I think we're just going to have a little play with some different asset orientations here. So with the historical fire station, I think we're going to try and line this up at the end of the tracks. Try to associate this more with the station here, I think. It's like maybe an old station house or something, doesn't it? And then over here, we're going to move a small playground into position on the corner. There, the elementary school as well. Should be quite nice. It looks like a water tower over here as well, I think, while we're out in the sticks. And let's go for... Up on the hill would be quite nice, wouldn't it? They do cause noise pollution though. Maybe on the way into the city. Make it part of the farmer's territory here. Okay, this is just filling up the resources, isn't it? This will eventually calm down. Just because it's getting that initial input, but it will chill. Then in terms of what we're going to do with the river, we'll obviously keep zoning up here. But I think we'll just get a lot of our larger rock formations. Especially on these slopes here where we're further up into the valley. And we'll definitely surround the kind of this source pool, if you like, almost try and make it look like it is coming out of like a crevice here from a underground spring, etc. See if we can try and bake something like that in, we should be able to. Let's get some of the chunky ones here as well. With these guys. I wouldn't mind a cave up here too. And then lots of that thick build guide forest to really create kind of a very lush kind of floor with the valley, right? Super steep terrain on the sides, but kind of lush forests and fertile plains on the valley floor. And just having that forest line hug around it. We won't have it everywhere, we'll have some cliff texture exposed here. That'll really help with the kind of the mountain stream vibe on it. But it'll really highlight it as it kind of runs through the town. Not bothered about losing fertile land here. We'll have some farms near the entrance into the city. Could have some up in the hills here as well, but yes, we could. The fields do adapt to the terrain, couldn't we? Maybe we could have some here. Gonna be tricky though, we'll have to see. Then hopefully now from the bird's eye view with the kind of forest line stream-esque river that comes down, it should make Shalmany look really pretty from the kind of this perspective once the town sits in the lower valley with these big dramatic slopes coming up either side. I would like to explore those fields on the hills because it'd be a shame not to at least attempt them, wouldn't it? So where we've got these little kind of stretches of fertile land that come out, we'll stretch up the Salix Sourwood fields up here. So let's get the road down first actually. Let's grab a dirt road. Just draw this out of this road here and a line for right now. So we could have could do fruit fields. It would look more kind of akin to vineyards then, I think, wouldn't it? And then we want a slope really, so let's find out roughly where we want to go to. Probably about there, I think. Give that a go. And just by sloping up, and we want to do this in a number of positions as well. That when we draw the opposite road. But that opposite road needs to be about 360. To give us the perfect opposite end there. And then we can obviously stack that in various repetitions, but it does give us functional fields flowing up the valley slopes, which I think will be quite a nice complement in and amongst all of the housing here, won't it? So I think that's what we'll do as that continues. Into the time-lapse, which, speaking of, now feels like a good place for, we'll get these sloped fields up in a couple of places where we can manage them. Lots more residential up in the hills here, very nice houses with wonderful views across the rural valleys of Orchid Bay. And then lots of nature detailing, rocks up here, cliffs, and then tie this into the nephew as well, because there's some pathways here that need to be corrected now in order to factor in connectivity into the new town, and some forest lines to redraw now we're over here. Plenty of forestry over here as well. Maybe we'll get some more fields out here at some point. I don't think we're going to have the nodes left for this fertile land though, so it probably will just remain kind of uncivilized Orchid Bay, if you like, just natural wilderness of the city out here, the big fertile plains. Either way, I'm rambling. Let's detail up Shalmany, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailed review, shall we, of Chamonix. This town has turned out really nicely, possibly a favourite of the rural towns now. On the entrance into the town, we just have some simple landscaping around the networks, and there's a little greenhouse complex, also throw in the cryo preservatory with that as well. It's a really nice little highway side combination, isn't it? Almost like a little mini kind of factory, or just greenhouse, high kind of hydroponics farming facility by the side of the road. Really nice, super cute. And then the view up the valley is really, really nice here. Love how it turned out. Great view, isn't it? All the different layers coming in. So we'll head down Main Street. At the farm here, it's just had a fence border around it. Farm maintenance building in there as well. And then a little bit of a rock wall, sort of retaining wall against that cricket pitch. In and around where all the pathways are meeting. With some tasteful historical commercial chosen for the street corner as well, of course, as always. Nice little marketplace here as well. And we can see the mountains behind it too. Really nice setting, isn't it? Definitely one of the prettier valleys in Orchid Bay. I'm glad we managed to build that here. A nice little configuration with our med clinic on the road, which actually does want to be disconnected here. There we go. Just so the parking sits at the front of it there, and actually extends the concrete texture, which works out really nicely. And then those buses back into they're just the nephew buses that have just been drawn down the line here to stop by the station. Everyone's just getting a nice little bit of use now. We'll hopefully see a train arrive, not in the too far distant future. There's one right now. Have a little look at the line details. A nice and busy line, 100% of car trips saved. Long line as well, 35-kilometer train line, which I realise is relatively short for an actual train line, but in City Skylines, it is definitely a long one. And I really like how all these seaside resorts assets are sitting in here to create the town centre buzz. Again, with more appropriate kind of older style commercial up here, right? Oklahoma kitchen, yes please. And then all the little historical vibes. And then lots of forested hillside suburbia, really. That's what really encompasses over here. With the pathway linking back into the Ash Lake over here. Big shout out to Adam Ash, wonderful, beautiful patron. And then it all just spills up the valley. These fields have been boxed in with fencing and added in farm maintenance depots with them as well. Same thing over here. A slightly larger field configuration as well. With pathways, and then as we head out of the valley, away from civilization, there's more rock work through here as well. Very heavily forested river as it comes through the town here. And we've also got a really nice bit of park detailing here as well, just on the edge of the town by the river. Very nice, very cute. And then houses resume here with the parks, and then they all sneak uphill. And then as we leave the town here, lots more forested hillside. Road weaves up and down and left and right. All the way to the head of the valley, where we do run into some zoo cafe assets. We can see people sitting on a bench, if not a bit on a slightly steep slope, but some tables and chairs in the countryside in the shadows of the larger mountains, right? Just a nice space to chill and enjoy and get on a viewing deck, enjoy the view. And then also dropped in the museum, I think this one is it? The Nature Reserve Museum. As an asset here as well, just as a bit more of a grander feature to help draw tourists to the area. And then just before you arrive here, there's actually a little turn off down towards the water side. We're referencing Josh Enio's idea for this valley. We do have some whitewater rafting over here with some tables and some props. Maybe a place where you can come up and pay, 15 quid for a little whitewater rafting session. Heading down the waters here all the way out into either, back to Chamonix or over to Denefue. So many town names now. It's kind of crazy. That's a nice little touch of personality all the way up here in the hills. And then the rock work paid off really nicely. You can hardly even tell the water outlet is here. So a nice little natural riverbed that spans down the valley. In and amongst the town, and then all the way back. Oh yeah, over here as well by the side of the station. I wanted to make it look as though maybe there was more tracks here once upon a time. But now as time has passed on, it's just been reduced down to the single one. So the wasteland is left over here, if you like. Nearby to the station where maybe trains were stored back in the day, etc. But and then it all spills out here. Everyone's fun, everyone's happy, and it sits very nicely, if I do say so myself, right at the head of the valley here as probably what will be the final town now. I was interested in the node count. We are now at 98% of the nodes with just a little over 600 to go So it's coming to a very dramatic conclusion, isn't it? But anyway, guys, that will do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have found yourself having fun today, maybe consider checking out the Instant Gaming link or the Overcharged Egg Patreon. We're going to get a little bit more out of the channel, podcasts, previews, early access, polls and whatnot, and a nice little private community to be had over with the patrons as well. So please check that out if you are enjoying the content on the channel. Massive thank you for all that support on all the CS content, CS1 and 2, and Man Awards more recently as well. A ton of fun making videos for that game. Otherwise, please do enjoy some wonderful cinematics of what I think is likely to be the last build. I don't think we do. Then again, this town's only used about 300 nodes, so we could do some more towns elsewhere. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. But either way, please do enjoy some cinematics of Shelmanie for the first time. Otherwise, let's thank you all so much indeed for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.